If you meet your first love again one day, what would you say? You bastard, you are still silent after not seeing each other for a long time. Many people can't forget their first love, but few have thought about what they can't forget. Is it that person or that feeling or entanglement? Would we be happier and more loyal now if we had been together at that time? A movie about first love was nominated for an Oscar. Many people said it was the best love movie last year. It tells the story of the person who didn't make it to the end and another kind of life that passed by you. Hai-Chung's childhood sweethearts, a pair of students in the class, always played together. One was first and the other was second. This time, he was second in the exam. He couldn't stand it and cried. Hai-Chung was very straight and said, "You always got first place in the exams before. What's wrong with letting me take the exam once?" Then he turned around and walked away, saying, "Hai-Chung, it's no wonder that he can't find a partner in the future." Ying only likes him. He thinks Hai-Chung's job is very slow. The understanding of first love is relatively abstract and one-sided. Liking someone for a specific trait can lead to the mistaken belief that your affection will last a lifetime. People who write about it will say that little brats don't understand at all. What is love? But from another perspective, isn't this the earliest and most beautiful form of love? The feeling is pure but fragile. Before the semester ends, Ying's family wanted to move to Canada. They had a silent conflict at school all day. Hai-Chung sulked, and Ying wasn't happy either. "I was leaving. Didn't you show that?" After school, Ying took the initiative to follow him home. They didn't say a word on the way home until they reached a fork in the road, when Hai-Chung called Ying over. We often say that first love is naive, because we often don't know when it started, and then it ends in a daze. Two roads symbolize the future of two individuals. One spins in place, the other looks up. Hai-Chung served in the military as required after 12 years. While others endured hardship, he departed. God gazes into the distance, pondering someone. He should rename himself Nor. He went to the big city New York alone to pursue a false dream. The sunset shines on his face. He only has the future in mind, long forgetting Hai-Chung. There is a detail. He looked for former classmates on the web but couldn't recall Hai-Chung's name for a bit. This is typical. There are not so many unforgettable people. People who are confused about the future are more likely to be trapped in the past. Hai-Chung has always been thinking about him and even made a special online post to locate him. Clicking on the homepage reveals a large photo of the handsome guy. I clicked on the friend request box without hesitation, but then I couldn't type in Korean. The time difference between the United States and South Korea is 14 hours. Hai-Chung received the message at 3 o'clock in the morning. I might have been drunk. Still panicking, he simply couldn't believe his eyes. The next morning, he sobered up and confirmed that Hai-Chung was still as reserved and unexpressive as Chow Chow, but his mother could tell at a glance that something was wrong with him. Ying was relatively more open. On the way home, he was so happy that he ran because he and Hai-Chung had made an appointment to have a video chat. Ying and Hai-Chung's story has come full circle after 12 years. They exchanged only a few pleasantries about the recent situation. Hai-Chung appeared loving, while Ying seemed hesitant. The video took a long time to play, with one watching from day to night and the other from late night to early morning, but died. After that, both of them felt a little dizzy. How to explain it? It was a bit like a world away. Afterward, they shared their daily lives through video, asking about each other's well-being, even if the time was not coincidental. Even though they didn't say it directly, we understand that this is what lovers would do. If you reunite with your first love that ended without a happy ending, it's easy to rekindle the old feelings, even if it's just chatting online. People always wish for a positive outcome if it occurs again. This also pertains to love, but is it factual? How long can a fire that has been rekindled from ashes last? After a while, both of them were obviously a little tired. Na Ying wants to sleep more each day, and Hai-Cheng also wants to talk to his friends. It's not a big deal to start raining like this. Na Ying decided to speak out. He hoped Hai-Cheng would come to New York, but Hai-Cheng had his own plans. He wanted to go to China for an exchange year so that he could find a better job after graduation. In fact, Na Ying also wanted to go back, but she changed her mind and felt that it was too hopeless. He hung up the video with a dark face. Na Ying's inability to return home and Hai-Cheng's inability to leave made the relationship destined to fail. Some say love can overcome distance, as people in the past loved for a lifetime despite slow transportation. Now, high-speed trains and planes in different places have become a problem. In the end, this distance is more like an excuse. Lovers go their separate ways when their lives go in opposite directions. They promised to keep in touch, but never did. Na Ying moved to the suburbs to join a writing camp. Hai-Cheng went to China as he wanted. It was hard to return to China, but life had to go on. When people reach a certain age, they will understand that there is no imperative in love. It is more about meeting the right person at the right time and place. Hai-Cheng met Na Ying and so did she. Na Ying got married partly to obtain a green card after 12 years passed quickly. Others may see this as utilitarian, but Na Ying knows she is happy. Innocent and romantic individuals may believe reality and love are incompatible, but for most people, a realistic love can last. Hai-Cheng broke up due to his modest income at almost 40 years old. It's strange that some people think ordinary people don't deserve happiness. This is one of them. Hai Cheng didn't tell anyone about other reasons. He felt a barrier in his heart blocking his life, so he wanted to go to New York for the New Year holiday. He admitted wanting to have fun, but the weather forecast predicted heavy rain for those days. How can you have fun? That's it. After 2 or 3 days in the hotel, the rain stopped, and Hai Cheng invited people out. He intentionally arrived early to seem more sincere. In the beautiful park, Hai Cheng's hands were sore and his feet were likely to damage a statue of a free woman. Before the meeting, he thought I had rehearsed it many times in my mind, but in reality, he often deliberately opposes you. What he wants to say must have been carefully crafted and repeatedly organized, but when we really meet, I find that I can't say a word. The two hugged each other twice. The first time was a belated affection, and the second time was a polite greeting. It was the first time in so many years that the two of them were so close, but their hearts were farther apart than ever before. Na Yingjin wanted to show Hai Cheng around New York as a host. He seemed to prefer seeing Na Ying Hai Cheng over the scenery. He came this time with hope and determination, despite Na Ying being married for 7 years and the unfavorable timing. After spending a day together, Hai Cheng realized he had no chance. Na Ying was happy and in love with her husband. The important thing was that you could feel it from her eyes. He is still determined about the future. These are what Hai Cheng wants but cannot have. Maybe that's why he likes Na Ying so much. Is it just because he likes her as a person, or does Hai Cheng see the life he longs for in Na Ying? Na Ying didn't hide the fact that she met her first love from her husband. Her husband said that the older one is more likely to be the younger one, but he really cares about it. The words, campus, white moonlight, are very destructive, especially since Na Ying is an immigrant. He himself cannot determine if his love for Hai Cheng also involves homesickness. Sometimes Na Ying would talk in her sleep in Korean at night, but her husband couldn't understand her, so he started to plot. He felt that there was a place in Na Ying's heart that he couldn't enter. Maybe it was to make her husband feel at ease and to make Hai Cheng give up. Na Ying arranged for the three of them to sit together and chat on the night Hai Cheng left. It was obvious that they tried very hard to make the scene less awkward. Finally, Hai Cheng opened the conversation in the bar. He said that now in Korea, people are very competitive. Work is almost like military service. You must obey the leader's instructions. You work overtime daily, but you don't receive extra pay. Na Ying listened to her husband and acted as the translator while the three of them were talking normally at first. Later, Hai Cheng told Na Ying that her husband couldn't understand such a person, and all she said were some explicit words from her heart. Hai Cheng can't let go of Na Ying, but if you look closely at his words, you'll find that what he really can't let go of is another possibility in life. I always feel that I will live better and happier in another smooth time and space. How can I travel back to the past? First love is the most accessible level. It seems that if I love again, my life will be completely different. But the reality is that everyone has only one life. If the content behind is nothing but a mirage, maybe only by letting go of the obsession with first love can we truly grow in love, learn to love specific people, face real life, and then the real present. Everything you have now is enough and beautiful. It was time to say goodbye. Na Ying wanted to send Hai Cheng off again. They both remained silent on the journey, reminiscent of our childhood. 24 years later, it felt like a new beginning. Na Ying and Hai Cheng's story was both the end and the beginning. There is a saying in Buddhism called karma. It roughly means that the cause planted in the previous life will result in the fate of this life. There is also a more romantic saying that 500 glances in the previous life will result in passing by each other in this life. The past life's name originated this way. However, the karma here is not metaphysical. It's not like rare love in fairy tales. This movie really wants to talk about regrets and reconciliation. We often say not to leave regrets, but how can life be without regrets? A life without regrets would be boring. Instead of avoiding regrets, it's better to embrace them. There is no need to regret or linger on them. They are not the opposite of perfection, but always exist as a part of perfection. Watching movies is also a way to taste life. Isn't the biggest case for each of us also an exploration of life? If such a work can bring you some positive influence, please like and follow it.